Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is subject of child development. This is lecture number 22 and this is about emotional development of a child. The outlines of the lectures are introduction about the main topic, definition of emotional development, importance of emotional development, physiology of emotion, characteristics of commonly seen emotions in a child, distress or cry, anger, fear, anxiety, and phobia. And then we will discuss its summary. First of all, introduction. Remember that each of us is born into society with rules, expectations, attitudes, and values. We know that everybody has some emotions when he or she borns, and always the children have some attitudes, and every member of the society they have some values. Our task through development is to come to understand ourselves, how we feel and function. Because this is the important thing that through our development in our life, we try to understand ourselves. That at what stage, how do we feel and how do we function? And then what are the desirable things of our society about ourselves and for the others? The process of socialization, learning social acceptable behavior, attitude, and values is greatly influenced by parents and other care provides as well as more peripheral people in children's life. Family, or in other words we can say parents, have a great role in the life of children because the behavior which may be acceptable in our society that is created or developed by our parents. So in the life of children, the parents' role is very important. Emotional development of a child, where the emotional development of the child is concerned, then it has a huge variation according to the age, maturity, intellectual development, temperament, experience, family background, and cultural backgrounds. Because due to the culture, we have different traditions, we have different customs, and if the background of the family is different, like they may be educated, they may be uneducated, they may be from a rich family, they may be from a poor family, and the experiences of different families are different as per societies, as per their employment, as per their routine jobs. So, or moreover, intellectual levels may be different. So that's why it has a great impact on the emotional development of the child. So social and emotional development means how children starts to understand who they are, what they are, and how they are feeling, and what to expect when interacting with others. So it is the development of being able to form and sustain positive relationships, experience, manage, and express emotions. These factors play an important role in influencing the child's development and underlying emotions. So there are so many factors. Then, concurrently, these aspects influence the child's ability to cope with the dental treatment. The different factors that we deal with the emotional developments of the children. As per age level, the emotional development of the children there remains calm during treatment. Like if we are getting treatment of the dental, so the children's may have the different types of emotional stabilities. So that's why some other vulnerable qualities may be there and may need more attention and time in order to make them cooperate for dental treatment, because there is need to encourage them, or there is need to give some motivation for the treatment of such diseases. And if we define emotional development, then we can say that like emotions. Emotion means an effective state of consciousness in which joy, sorrow, fear, hatred, or the likes are expressed. In other words, we can say that this is a conscious mental reactions such as anger or fear, subjectively experienced as strong feeling, usually directed toward a specific object and typically accompanied by physiological and behavioral changes in the body. Or we can say that these may be the state of feeling. Emotions can also be explained that this is a strong feeling state, and that is arising subjectively and directed toward a specific object with physiological, somatic and behavioral components. Emotionals, these are complex. According to some theories, they are states of feeling that results in physical and psychological changes that influence our behavior. The physiology of emotion is closely linked to arousal of the nervous system, with various states and strengths of arousal relating apparently to particular emotions. So emotion is also linked to behavioral tendency, like extroverted people are more likely to be social and express their emotions, while introverted people are more likely to be more socially withdrawn and conceal their emotions. So emotion is often the driving force behind motivation, positive or negative. So according to the different theories of emotions, emotions are not causal forces but simply include motivation, simply include feelings, behaviors and physiological changes. But no one of these components is the emotion, nor is the emotion an entity that causes these components. The other definitions are given by the other authors like Morgan, King and Robinson, said that there is no concise definition because an emotion is many things at once. Means the way we feel when we are emotional, the behavioral arousal, the physiological or bodily basis that emotions are expressed by language, facial expressions and gestures. So that some emotions are very much like motive states and that they drive behavior. Other definitions are also there like emotion. This is a complex set of interactions among subjective and objective factors, because there are so many factors belongs to subjectivity and there are some objective factors mediated by neural or hormonal systems, because with the reactions of our neurals, so our behavior or our emotions may be changed, so which can give rise to affective experience such as feeling of arousal, pleasures and displeasure. So an emotion is a feeling such as happiness, love, fear, anger or hatred, which can be caused by the situation that you are in or with or people you are with. So emotion is the part of person's character that consists of their feelings as opposed to their thoughts. Moreover, we can also define it that it generates cognitive process such as emotionally relevant perceptual effects, appraisal, labeling processes, and it always activate widespread physiological adjustment to the arousing conditions. So this is also given by Klangina and Klekina in 1981. It also leads to behavior that is often, but not always, expressive, goal directed, and adaptive. Now, emotional security is there. Emotional security, this is the measure of stability of an individual's emotional situations and of the process or of the person's ability to bring their inner resources to bear in coping with stress. So there are two types of emotions, like positive emotions and negative emotions. In positive emotions, we can say that the affections may be there, amusement may be there, joy, curiosity, and happiness. And this is essential to normal development. And in negative emotions, we can also say that there is a fear, anger, jealousy, harmful to development. So emotional security, that is equal to the happy child. Then what is importance of emotional development? Because everything has some importance with respect to its uh, different factors. First of all, better understanding of the child means that this is very necessary, that if the children are understanding the things in a quite better way, then it means that they are having their emotions stable, emotional stability. Then to understand the problem of psychological origin, that what is happening behind this. So if the children are understanding that what is happening behind it, so this means that they have some psychological origin. Then deliver dental treatment service in a meaningful manner. Like if the students or the children, they get the treatment of different diseases in a well manner, it means that they understand. It means that they are emotionally stable. Establish effective communication. Always the persons or the children who have good and emotional development, so they always establish the effective communication with others. Rather it may be with the family, that may be with the friends, that may be the fellows, that may be the peers. So they always have an effective communication with all of them. So better teaching of primary and preventive care. This is also very important, that emotional development, this helps to give the better teaching at primary level, and also give them preventive care about the different factors that they may harm into their lives. Then effective treatment planning and execution. This is also very important, that if we are going to give a better training about emotional development, or if we want to develop emotionally to our children, so that may be effective and it needs some effective treatment and planning. And other than planning, the execution is also important, because if there is no execution, there is no training. Then it provides a comfortable environment. When emotionally the child is stable, then uh, you can give a better emotional environment, and the students may be developed in a better way. Now there are different stages of life, different emotions at different stages of life. Like when the children grow, so at different stages, their emotional or their emotions are different. Like at infancy level, distress is there, and startling response is there, and delight is there. And in early childhood, the anxiety is there, fear, shame, anger, disgust, jealousy, disappointment, restlessness, joy, and then related to delight, early adulthood, that is elation, hopeful anticipation, affection, sex, etc. So at late adulthood, uh, the children may have grief, worry, self-pity, guilty feeling, depression, and irritability, boredom, and mystical, ecstasy, processive, satisfaction, and benevolence. Then we discuss about physiology of emotions. So what is physiology of emotions? Development of emotions that depends upon the maturation in the nervous system and the endocrine system. And if there are some differences in the emotional responsiveness between children and adults, and that appears to be part due to cortical immaturity and partly due to difference in endocrine output. Here we can see that nervous system that is divided into two parts, so CNS and PNS, and then PNS also divided into two, somatic and autonomic, and then an autonomic to sympathetic, and this is the system of this is nervous system that is being developed or have, and that is connected with the different things, like you can see here eyes and lungs are there, and the kidneys are there, and everything that is connected with some system. So here we can also observe that how the emotional stability that is concerned, and from where it has some connection with our mind, with our nervous system or neural networks. Now, physiology of education, physiology of emotion means the sympathetic system that is active during aroused states and prepares the body for extensive actions for increasing the heart rate, blood pressure, blood glucose level, and raising the level of certain hormones in the blood. Nerve impulses in this system, which reach the inner part of the adrenal glands located on the top of the kidneys, trigger the secretions of epinephrine and norepinephrine. This part of ANS that is active when any strong emotion, especially fear and anger, because this is totally connected with the fear and anger. And then parasympathetic system that tends to be active when we are calm and relaxed. So this is the situations when parasympathetic systems operates. Now we will study that at the birth cortex development is completed and frontal lobe is immature, and this has a little influence on the function of lower parts of the brain, resulting in imbalanced emotions. And emotional response of the child always arouse quickly, but that is short lived. And in 2 to 5 years and 11 to 12 years, adrenal gland can wait rapidly, and liberation of adrenaline in blood is vigorous. As a result of which is a preschooler is highly emotional, and emotional outbursts are prolonged too. So that give rise to physiological sign of emotional disturbance. Then the activity of brain in a certain region that is having different way of learning, including hypothalamus and other part of nervous system, directly influence the muscles and also the internal organs to initiate body changes. And then it also involves the indirect stimulating adrenal hormones to other body changes and preparing the body for light or flight. Then there are some characteristics of commonly seen emotions in a child. You can here observe that distress or joy, anger may be there, fear is there, anxiety is there, and phobia is there. So these are some common seen emotions in a child. If we talk about the distress or cry, so this is the most common way of child express fear by crying at a dentist office and crying like other emotional manifestations of human behavior, that is an expression of personality of an individual. And crying is also liable to be the result of conflict with the developing ego and with his newly formed interest. And after this age of 1.5, child develops that is a variety of fears and cries for the security of his mother's company. At birth level, the primary emotions are there, then with vigorous body expressions, and also usually due to hunger, colic, or any on any internal cause may be there. And then at the age of 6 months, we can have greatly replaced by the milder expressions of fusing or vocalization. And then during preschool age, only for the reasons of physical pain as he is disappointed by his environment. And during school year, pressure helps him to outgrow the crying habit, which decreases rapidly. And after there's still 15 years, crying occurs very seldom. And then at the age of young adults, there's ultimately it becomes a limited quiet crying in private only for reasons of grief or the other intense emotions. Then there are some different types of cry that is seen in the children, like there are four types of crying usually seen in the children, and that is obstinate cry and frightened cry and hurt cry and also the compensatory cry. If you talk about the obstinate cry, so that is the child throw a temper tantrum to through the dental treatment, and it is loud, high pitched, and pause and repeated over again, and that is characterized as a siren-like wail, and represents the child external response to anxiety. And the second type, that is frightened cry, and this is usually accompanied by a torrent of tears and then convulsive breath-catching sobs, and usually the child emitting this type of cry has been overwhelmed by the situation. And then the hurt cry is there that may be loud and more frequently accompanied by a small whimper. And initially, a child in discomfort shows a single tear filling the corner of the eye and running down the child's cheek without making any sound or resistance to the treatment procedure. Then concentric cry is there, like it is not a cry at all, and it is a sound that child makes to drown out the noise. For example, a trill, and usually the cry sound is slow, monotone, and it is sort of coping mechanisms to unpleasant auditory stimuli, finding themselves uncomfortable in the situation. And then anger is there, like outburst of the emotion that is caused by the child's lack of skill in handling the situations, and infant and the young children that they respond in anger in direct and primitive manner, but as they develop, the responses become violent and more symbolic. And also 15-month children express anger by throwing objects, and 2 years old attacks other children with an intentions to hurt, and 4-year-old expressions, they express their anger through begging, and 5-year-olds have less expressions of anger, and 6-year-old have a renewal of violent methods of expression of anger. Then 7-year ones display less aggressiveness through kicking, throwing objects is observed in the child, and 8 to 9 years old anger is expressed through feeling, and it becomes directed toward a single person. Then 10-year-olds angers may become violent, and that may be expressed physically, And at 12 years old that they express anger verbally, and at 14-year-olds children they may take out his anger on some. Then fear is there, the unpleasant emotional state consisting of psychological and physiological responses to a real external threat or danger, including agitation, alertness, tension, and mobilization of the alarm reaction. And it is also defined as this is a painful feeling of impending danger, evil, trouble, etc. And it is defined as the reaction to known dangers. We can also state that fear that is related to emotional patterns like shyness is there, and this is characterized by thinking, shrinking from contact with who are stranger and unfamiliar, and it is always stimulated by people who are never by objects, animals, or situations. Then, like in baby, usual response in shyness is crying, turning the head, and if able to walk, run away and hide. And older children's like by blushing, by stunning and stuttering, by nervous mannerism, pulling at the ears, at clothing shifting from one foot to others, and blending the head to one side. And embarrassment is there, fear, a reaction to people, not to objects or situation, and stimulated by uncertainty about how people will judge uh, one's behavior, and then a state of self-conscious distress, and that is not present in a child who are less than 5 to. An anxiety, it is an uneasy mental state that is concerning impending or anticipated ill, and like worry, anxiety is due to imaginary rather than real cause. And worry is related to specific situations, whereas anxiety is generalized emotional state. And worry comes from an objective problem, whereas entity comes from the subjective problem. So there are different types of fear corresponding to age, like at 0 to 2 years, and then 2 to 4, 4 to 7, 8 to 10, 11 to 13. So these are the different types of fears, like in 0 to 2 years, danger, loud noises, loud of sports, and strange objects. Then in 2 to 4 years, being alone, darkness, animals, and at 4 to 7 years age, environment at all environmental threat is there, imaginary creatures, animals, and 8 to 2 years animals, burglar, and personal harm or harm others, and 11 to 13 there are fears of animals, separations from parents, etc. So then types of fear, like fear of dental situation is there, like innate fear, objective fear, subjective fear, suggestive, and imitative, imaginative, etc. These are the fears. Innate fear means that without stimuli and or previous experience, and it is thus also dependent on the vulnerability of the. And objective fear means that that is produced by the direct physical stimulation of the sense organs and are generally not of parental origin. And objective fear also responses to stimuli that are felt, seen, heard, smelled, or tasted, and are of disagreeable or unpleasant nature. And subjective fear, that is related to the fear based upon the somebody else experience without actually undergoing dental treatment himself. Like the majority of the children who visit the dentist are anxious, in particular using first visit and during first visit. So their anxiety level may heighten by stories from friends, relatives, parents who have threatened them using the dentist visit as a punishment for bad behavior. Moreover, the suggestive fear is there, that is acquired by imitation, by observation of others, and imitative fear is there, like that is transmitted while displayed by others, and like parents, and acquired by the child without being aware of it, and displayed emotion in parents' face creates more impressions than verbal suggestions. And even a light cleaning of the child's hand in dental office while undergoing dental treatment creates fear in the child's mind about dental treatment. And imaginative fear is there, like as the child imaginative capability develop, they become more intense with age and mental development with a certain age. And also anxiety is there. Anxiety means that the term anxiety that is entered the field of psychology as the translation of the German word Angst, which was used by French in 1936. Then anxiety, this is the normal part of children, and every child goes through the phase. And a phase means this is a temporary and usually harmless. Children, those who suffer from anxiety disorder experience fear, nervousness, and shyness, and they start to avoid places and activities. And then emotions similar to fear but arising without any objective source of dangers, and it is a reaction to unknown danger. It is a learned process being in response to one's environment. As an anxiety depends on the ability to imagine, it develops later than, and it is often defined as a state of unpleasant feeling combined with an associated feeling of impending doom or danger from within rather than from without. So this is also a state of uneasiness or tensions caused by apprehensions of possible future and misfortune, danger, etc. And this is also an emotion that is characterized by the unpleasant state of inner turmoil and often accompanied by nervous behavior such as backing back and forth, somatic complaints, and rumination. Then there are some types of anxiety, like trait anxiety is there. It is a lifelong pattern of anxiety as a temperament features, and it is a present preset level of anxiety experienced by an individual who has a tendency to be more anxious, to react less appropriately to anxiety provoking stimuli. So these children are generally jittery, skittish, and hypersensitive to stimuli. Then state anxiety is there, means there are actual situational bond episode of anxiety that do not persist beyond the provoking situation. And it is a fear, nervousness, discomfort, and the arousal of the automatic nervous system induced temporarily by situations perceived as dangerous. And its examples are a child feels anxiety when confronted by large, strange animals, and a person feels anxious to get an airplane for the first time. And then there is a free floating anxiety. It is a condition of the persistently anxious mood in which the cause of emotion is unknown and many other thoughts or events trigger the anxiety. Then situational anxiety is there, like it is only seen in specific situations or objects. And a general anxiety where the individual experiences a chronic pervasive feeling of anxiousness, whatever may be the external. And subtypes of anxiety is there, like associated. This is process of classic conditioning whereby previously neutral stimuli become the cause for arousal, and anxiety for pairing them with pain or the negative experiences of others. And if we talk about the appraisals, then there are anxiety is concerned with the cognition or the way we think, and it involved reconstruction of negative experiences rather than positive happening that account for the arousal of anxiety. And some causes of anxiety, like uncertainty may be there, fear of unknown is anxiety provoking. And in dental clinic, new patient anxiety can due to uncertainty. They feel about what way await them after initial first. So dear students, this was all about. Take care. Allah Hafiz.